The grand ballroom glowed with crystal chandeliers as Alexander stood at the altar, his jaw tight with anger. At 35, he had built his company into an empire through sharp decisions and refusing to be manipulated. Yet here he stood, trapped by a promise made decades ago. This wedding was a business arrangement. His late father had promised his best friend Harold that their families would unite through marriage. When both men died, that promise became a binding contract threatening Alexander's entire inheritance if broken. The Whitmore family insisted on traditional customs, including a veil covering the bride's face until after the ceremony. Alexander suspected they were hiding something, trapping him before he could see the truth. The music began. He kept his eyes forward, refusing to watch her approach. He had tried everything to escape this arrangement. His lawyers found no loopholes. The contract was ironclad. When she reached his side, he caught the scent of jasmine, but still refused to look. The officiant began, and Alexander responded mechanically, already planning separate residences and minimal contact. "Do you, Alexander James Morrison, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?" "I do." The words tasted bitter. "And do you, Catherine Grace Whitmore, take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband?" "I do." Her voice was soft but steady, surprisingly warm. "You may now kiss the bride." Alexander finally turned. Through the white lace veil, he could see only vague shapes, hints of blonde hair beneath the traditional covering. His hands trembled with anger as he reached for the veil. The ballroom held its breath. He lifted it slowly, revealing her chin, then her lips, her small nose, and finally her eyes. He froze. Catherine looked up at him with striking green eyes filled with intelligence, kindness, and something unexpected. Recognition. "You," he whispered. A sad smile touched her lips. "Hello, Alexander." His mind raced back 15 years to a summer internship. There had been a quiet girl who worked twice as hard as everyone else, Catherine Whitmore. She had been plain then, he thought in his youthful arrogance, wearing simple clothes with no makeup. He had been cruel once. She presented a brilliant idea in a meeting, and he dismissed it publicly, too caught up in ego to recognize genius. Later, he found her crying in the stairwell and walked past without apologizing. The next day, she was gone from the program, until now. But this woman was transformed. She carried herself with quiet confidence, her natural beauty no longer hidden. Yet her eyes held that same sharp intelligence he had been too blind to see. The officiant cleared his throat. Alexander realized he had been staring. He leaned down and kissed her, a brief formal touch that sent an unexpected jolt through him. The reception passed in a blur. Finally, they found themselves alone in a quiet corner as guests departed. "Why did you not tell me?" Alexander asked. Catherine met his eyes steadily. "Would it have mattered? You made it clear you wanted no part of this marriage. I remember you from the internship. You left suddenly." Something flickered across her face. "Some environments are not conducive to learning." The implication stung. "I was cruel to you." "You were young and arrogant," Catherine said simply. "We both were different people then." "What happened after that summer?" Catherine's smile was bitter. "My Uncle Harold was your father's friend, but not my father. When my parents died when I was 17, he took me in out of obligation, not love. After I left that internship, he saw me as a burden." She paused. "But he also saw an opportunity. When both our fathers died and the contract surfaced, Uncle Harold realized I was his ticket to the Morrison fortune. He spent the last year training me to be the perfect society wife while hiding my identity from you. Why did you agree? I had no money, no family support, no options. And besides, the contract would have bound you to marry a Whitmore regardless. At least this way, it is someone who understands building something from nothing." Alexander studied her, seeing the strength beneath the elegant exterior. "You have changed. So have you. The Alexander Morrison I knew would never have honored a contract that did not benefit him directly. Yet here you are. I had no choice." "There is always a choice," Catherine replied. "You chose honor over convenience. That says something. What do you want from this marriage?" Alexander asked, finally. Catherine considered carefully. I want to prove I am more than a bargaining chip. I want the chance to show I have value beyond this contract, and perhaps we might find something resembling partnership. You want to work? I have a master's degree in business strategy from Columbia. I completed it in the evenings while Uncle Harold paraded me through etiquette classes. I refuse to be a decorative wife who only lunches and plans charity galas. For the first time that day, something shifted inside Alexander. This was not the disaster he imagined. This was something far more complicated and interesting. I have a proposal, he said slowly. We honor the contract for the required year, but instead of separate lives, we approach this as genuine partnership. Work with me, prove your worth, and at the end of the year, we decide together whether to continue or part as friends. Catherine's eyes widened. You would give me a position in your company? Not give. You will earn it. But yes, I think you could be an asset. Why change your mind so suddenly? Because 15 years ago I was too blind to see your worth, he said honestly. I would rather not make the same mistake twice. Catherine was quiet, emotions playing across her face. Then she extended her hand. Partners, then. For 1 year. Alexander took her hand, feeling the strength in her grip. Partners. The year that followed transformed them both. Catherine proved brilliant in strategy meetings, seeing opportunities others missed. Alexander found himself seeking her opinion on major decisions. They developed friendship built on mutual respect and shared ambition. Slowly, that friendship deepened into something more. On their first anniversary, Alexander found Catherine by the window of their home office. The year is up, he said quietly. We should discuss the future of this marriage. Catherine turned to face him. What do you want, Alexander? He took her hands. I want to tear up that contract. I want to choose this marriage freely, not because of some agreement, but because I choose you. Because somewhere in this year I fell in love with my wife. Tears filled Catherine's eyes. I fell in love with you too. Despite everything, I love who you have become, who we have become together. Then marry me again, Alexander said. No contracts, no obligations. Just two people choosing each other. Yes, Catherine whispered. 1,000 times, yes. They renewed their vows in a small ceremony with only close friends. This time, when Alexander looked at his bride, he saw everything clearly. Her strength, her intelligence,